Emeralds have always carried an aura of mystery, but a few are said to have crossed the thin line between beauty and the forbidden. For thousands of years, cultures around the world have believed that emeralds were more than just jewels. They were vessels of power, capable of influencing fate, destiny, and even the human soul. Ancient texts, recovered artifacts, and lost chronicles all point to one unsettling truth. Certain emerald relics were not created for beauty or wealth. They were created for ritual. These were the stones said to call upon forces that humans were never meant to touch, and the few who possessed them often paid the price for their ambition. The first of these forbidden relics is known as the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, an object shrouded in myth and secrecy. Said to be carved from a single piece of flawless green crystal, it was believed to contain the words of the Egyptian god of wisdom, Thoth himself. Legends claim it held the key to immortality and the secret of transformation, what later became known as alchemy. According to medieval scholars, whoever could decipher its inscriptions could command the forces of nature and transcend human limitations. The tablet was said to emit a faint green glow, visible only in darkness. Some historians argue that it was never a physical object but a metaphor for divine knowledge, yet multiple ancient sources describe it as real. When it vanished from Alexandria, witnesses reported strange lights over the harbor and priests who fell ill after touching the chest that once contained it. Centuries later, European alchemists claimed fragments of the tablet had been rediscovered, but those who handled them met sudden and mysterious deaths. Another relic that emerged in legend is the Emerald Idol of the Andes. Hidden deep within South America, it was said to have been crafted by a pre-Incan civilization that worshipped the stars. The idol, described as a figure with eyes of pure emerald, was believed to house a spirit that demanded offerings of blood in exchange for protection. Spanish explorers who heard of it in the 16th century sought it desperately, hoping to claim its power. According to missionary records, entire expeditions vanished without a trace after entering the jungles to find it. One survivor was found wandering the mountains, delirious and blind. He described an emerald statue that looked back at him and a light so intense it burned his vision away. Local legends say that the idol still exists, hidden in a cave that only reveals itself to those marked by greed. The third of these relics is the Emerald Crown of Ashur, traced back to the ancient Assyrian Empire. The crown was said to have been forged during a lunar eclipse and set with emeralds believed to have fallen from the heavens. Inscriptions describe it as a gift of the gods, and a tool for summoning divine guidance in battle. Yet, every ruler who wore it met a violent death. The king who first claimed it reportedly saw visions of shadows surrounding his throne. His successor died from an unknown fever, and the next was struck down by his own soldiers during a revolt. When the Assyrian Empire finally fell, the crown was lost to history. Archaeologists in the 20th century unearthed fragments of green stone in northern Iraq that matched its description. Hours after the discovery, a sudden sandstorm buried the site, and several team members died of respiratory failure within days. The remaining pieces were sealed in a museum vault and never displayed to the public again. In medieval Europe, stories began to circulate about a sacred chalice known as the Emerald Cup of Verona. According to monastic records, it was used in secret ceremonies by an order of monks who claimed it could grant divine visions. They described it as an emerald so large it had been carved into the shape of a drinking vessel, with strange golden symbols along its rim. Those who drank from it experienced dreams of radiant light followed by deep, unending darkness. The church declared the cup heretical and ordered it destroyed, but eyewitnesses claimed it disappeared before it could be seized. Centuries later, during World War II, rumors resurfaced of a green chalice found among hidden relics in northern Italy. The soldiers who guarded it began to suffer hallucinations, insomnia, and paranoia. After the war, the cup was reportedly shipped to a private collector, and its whereabouts remain unknown. The final relic on record is the Emerald Mirror of Babylon, a circular disc said to have been created by ancient mystics to communicate with the underworld. According to recovered tablets, it was polished from a single massive emerald and used during lunar rituals to summon visions of the dead. Unlike other relics, this one was not meant to bless or heal but to command. Those who looked into it too long reportedly lost their reflection entirely. Babylonian priests wrote of a green light that consumes the soul, and when the mirror was seized by invaders, the temple that housed it collapsed the following day. No trace of it has ever been found, though some scholars claim fragments were traded secretly among occult collectors in the 19th century. Each of these emerald relics tells the same story, a warning disguised as legend. Beauty, knowledge, and power are always intertwined with risk. Throughout time, the people who sought these forbidden objects believed they were touching the divine, but what they awakened instead was something far older, darker, and far less forgiving. The emerald's glow, admired for centuries as a symbol of life and wisdom, hides another side, one that reflects not the heavens, but the abyss. Over the centuries, whispers of the forbidden emerald relics spread quietly through secret societies, hidden monasteries, and royal courts. Each generation seemed to rediscover the same truths, that emeralds held power beyond their beauty, a kind of energy that could heal or destroy depending on the intent of the one who wielded it. While historians recorded the objects as myth, occult scholars insisted that the stones had once existed and that their disappearance was not accidental. They believed the relics were sealed away deliberately, hidden to prevent them from falling into human hands again. Yet the hunger for power never disappeared. From emperors to modern collectors, the emerald's dark legacy continued to call to those who could not resist its light. In the 16th century, during the height of the Spanish conquests in South America, a strange emerald altar was reported deep in the jungles of what is now Colombia. Soldiers described a stone platform carved entirely from green crystal that shimmered even under the canopy's shade. The native priests who guarded it believed it was a bridge between worlds, where gods could hear the voices of men. When the conquistadors tried to dismantle it, lightning struck the clearing and killed several men instantly. The survivors, terrified, fled and refused to speak of it again. Only a single fragment of the altar was recovered, small enough to fit in a man's hand. It was sent to Spain, where it reportedly vanished during a shipwreck in the Atlantic. For decades afterward, fishermen along the coast told stories of green lights flickering beneath the waves, as if the ocean itself had claimed the relic and was guarding it still. In the Middle East, ancient records mention another mysterious object, the Emerald Amulet of Salim, a gem encased in gold and believed to have been created by scholars of the Abbasid Caliphate. The amulet was said to grant visions of the future to those who meditated before it, but with each vision came madness. Its last known keeper, a mystic from Baghdad, wrote that he had seen the world ending in green fire. Shortly after his final entry, he disappeared, and the amulet was lost during the Mongol invasions. Centuries later, an emerald matching its description surfaced in Istanbul, where a collector purchased it for an enormous sum. Within weeks, his estate burned to the ground, and he was found dead, clutching a shard of melted gold fused with green stone. The authorities dismissed the connection, but locals still whisper that the amulet's curse followed anyone who tried to contain it. By the 19th century, the fascination with emerald relics had reached Europe's secret orders. Alchemists and occultists believed that the stones were not simply decorative but resonated with an unseen frequency, a spiritual vibration capable of amplifying human thought. Some claimed that meditating before certain emeralds could open gateways to higher dimensions or summon entities beyond comprehension. In Paris, a small group of scholars calling themselves the Circle of the Veil claimed to have found one such relic, a broken emerald sphere believed to be a fragment of the Emerald Mirror of Babylon. Their journals describe experiments involving light, sound, and symbols carved in ancient Chaldean script. Within months, 3 members died in inexplicable accidents, and the rest vanished. Their meeting place was later found abandoned, the floor marked with scorched rings and a faint green residue embedded in the stone. Even in the modern age, the myths of these relics refused to die. In 2015, archaeologists working in northern Peru uncovered a sealed tomb with a sarcophagus carved from green quartz. Inside lay a single emerald pendant shaped like an eye. The artifact emitted unusual electromagnetic readings, though it showed no signs of modern alteration. Days after its discovery, the lead researcher fell ill with unexplained neurological symptoms and insisted he could hear a hum coming from the pendant. The object was immediately secured and transferred to a laboratory, where the power mysteriously failed during testing. To this day, the pendant remains classified, with official reports describing it only as anomalous material of uncertain origin. Across centuries, patterns repeat, emeralds associated with light, wisdom, and healing turning into instruments of madness and ruin. Some historians argue that these stories reveal more about human nature than about the stones themselves. Emeralds have always symbolized balance between life and death, creation and destruction. Perhaps it is not the emeralds that are cursed, but those who cannot resist what they represent, control over forces greater than themselves. Yet even skeptics admit that something about these stories lingers, a feeling that truth and legend have become indistinguishable. And somewhere, hidden beneath the earth or lost in forgotten temples, the forbidden relics might still exist, waiting for another hand to reach out and awaken them once more. By the 20th century, the legends of the Forbidden Emerald Relics had evolved into something between myth and obsession. Secret archives, private letters, and classified research hinted that governments and collectors had quietly hunted these stones for decades. During the Second World War, intelligence reports mentioned Nazi expeditions in South America and the Middle East searching not just for gold or art, but for green relics of divine resonance. According to declassified notes, one of these missions reached the ruins of an ancient temple in the Andes, where they unearthed fragments of emerald artifacts matching descriptions from pre-Columbian myths. The expedition ended abruptly. Every member reportedly died within weeks, some from disease, others in inexplicable accidents. The recovered pieces were sealed in crates labeled as geological samples and vanished into private archives after the war. Witnesses later claimed the emerald shards emitted a faint hum, like distant wind through stone, whenever exposed to light. As technology advanced, scientists began examining ancient stones in search of evidence behind the old legends. In 1973, a research team in Italy conducted a study on an emerald amulet rumored to date back to Babylonian times. It was said to have been retrieved from the sands of southern Iraq and acquired by a private museum. Under high magnification, the researchers found something impossible: microscopic carvings that resembled geometric codes, patterns too precise to have been made by ancient tools. Before the study could continue, the lead scientist died in his sleep. The amulet was returned to storage and never analyzed again. Officially, it was dismissed as coincidence, yet the photographs of the carvings were quietly removed from the archives. In recent years, the fascination with emerald relics has resurfaced through urban legends, online forums, and leaked documents. One of the most disturbing modern accounts comes from a mining site in Pakistan, where workers unearthed a flawless green stone embedded in the wall of a collapsed tunnel. When touched, the stone reportedly produced a low vibration that made the air feel heavier. Within 24 hours, 2 miners fell unconscious and later described vivid visions of an emerald light, breathing like a living thing. The stone was sent to Islamabad for analysis but disappeared during transport. The official report simply noted that the vehicle never arrived. Even skeptics admit that these stories share a strange consistency. Across different continents and centuries, the same elements appear: emeralds glowing faintly in darkness, mysterious sounds, sudden illness, and disappearances. Scientists can explain radiation, magnetism, or psychological suggestion, but none can explain the emotional reaction these relics provoke. Witnesses often describe feeling watched, as if the stones themselves carried awareness, memory, or intent. Some claim they dream of green light for days after seeing one. Whether psychological or supernatural, the effect is undeniable. The Forbidden Emerald Relics have become more than historical artifacts. They are mirrors reflecting the endless tension between human curiosity and fear. Every civilization that sought to harness their supposed power met downfall, and yet the search continues. The allure of what lies beyond reason is irresistible. From the jungles of Peru to the ruins of Mesopotamia, fragments of legend still sleep beneath the soil, perhaps waiting for another age to disturb them. In the end, the question remains the same: are these emeralds cursed by divine wrath, or are they simply reminders that power, in any form, demands a price? For those who look into their depths too long, the answer may already be staring back. Today, the legends of the Forbidden Emerald Relics still shimmer between truth and myth, echoing through museums, archives, and whispered stories shared among collectors. Every few years, a rumor surfaces: a newly discovered artifact, a glowing stone, or a photograph that should not exist. Governments quickly deny it, institutions seal their reports, and the world moves on. But beneath that silence remains an unease that refuses to fade. The idea that objects forged in ancient rituals could still carry energy, something conscious, something waiting, haunts historians and scientists alike. Some say the emeralds were never meant to be possessions, only conduits, channels connecting the living with something beyond comprehension. And perhaps, by locking them away, humanity only trapped that power instead of silencing it. Across centuries, the same story has repeated under different names and different empires. The Emerald Tablet, the Mirror of Babylon, the Idol of the Andes, relics born in devotion, stolen in greed, and buried in fear. They symbolize the human desire to command the unknown, to turn mystery into mastery. Yet every attempt to control them ends the same way: collapse, madness, or disappearance. The pattern is too consistent to ignore. Those who chase the emerald's glow always find the same truth: that power never serves without consequence. Maybe the curse was never within the stones, but within those who sought them. The emerald, once a symbol of harmony and eternal life, became the color of envy, hunger, and obsession. Its green light, once divine, became a warning. Even now, the thought of a hidden relic lying in darkness tempts explorers and scholars alike. And though the ancient temples may be gone, the hunger to find what was forbidden endures. Somewhere, beneath the sands or the jungle roots, a forgotten emerald still gleams faintly, waiting for the next soul reckless enough to awaken it. To everyone who has joined this journey and helped this channel reach 200 subscribers, thank you. Every comment, every view, and every share keeps these forgotten stories alive. The support of this community turns legends into living history. Now, we set our next goal: 500 subscribers. With your help, we can continue uncovering the mysteries hidden beneath time itself. So, if you enjoy stories like this, filled with legend, truth, and the shadows in between, subscribe and help us reach the next milestone. The next discovery might be closer than we think.